In the not-so-distant future, devastating natural disasters and worldwide crises push humanity to the edge. World leaders rush to the UN, desperate for answers. After heated debates and difficult choices, they reach a chilling agreement. The global population must be cut by 20%. Every catastrophe, they argue, can be traced back to human actions. Once the UN Secretary-General signs off on the plan, a strict new order takes effect. All international borders slam shut. No one can cross until their country reduces its population to the mandated level. Food is vanishing, water is scarce, and chaos is looming. The world is running out of time. Meanwhile, a government water distribution truck makes its way through the neighborhoods, handing out limited supplies to the desperate public. A curious little girl watches in silence as officials from the Department of Citizen Strategy exit a home. They've just euthanized a resident inside. Cold and emotionless, Bob, the man in charge, hands a slip of paper to a woman at the door, confirming her family has now met the population limit. Just like that. Not far away, piano movers Youssef and Malik drive past a massive digital billboard advertising the voluntary euthanasia program. The cheerful ad enrages Malik, and in a burst of fury he hurls his coffee at it. His frustration with the collapsing world spills over. Who could blame him? Later, the two arrive at the luxurious York estate, shielding themselves with umbrellas to avoid the punishing solar radiation that scorches the earth. It's so dangerous outside now that umbrellas and protective window films are the only defense. Inside the house, they struggle upstairs with a massive umbrella, while a man on the TV passionately promotes euthanasia as a noble act, even suggesting children should be allowed to enlist. Viewers across the nation are outraged. Then comes the shocking twist. The man on screen is none other than Jared York, the son of their current client, the renowned journalist Charles York. Furious, Malik and Youssef criticize him openly, until Charles enters the room. Embarrassed, they quickly apologize, but Charles calmly tells them he agrees. His son's words disgust him too. Once the movers leave, Charles quietly gazes at an old family photo. It shows his second wife Dawn, his children Jared, Ashley, and Rachel, and his adopted son Noah. Tonight he's invited them all to a special dinner. In the kitchen, Dawn, once a celebrated chef, prepares an elaborate Korean feast. But her face tells another story. She hugs Charles tightly, tears falling down her cheeks. The evening news blares in the background. The Department of Citizen Strategy is now armed, ready to deal with civil unrest. Even worse, Rachel's company, York Therapeutics, is being hit with a massive fraud lawsuit. Soon after, Jared arrives at the York home. Sitting in his car, his phone rings. It's his wife, and she's livid over his televised interview. She screams that he'll never see their son again. Jared tries to explain that the reporter twisted his words, but she won't listen. She hangs up without another word. Shaken, Jared steps inside and waits for Charles. Upstairs, Charles briefly removes the solar film from a window to feel the sun again, but the rays are so intense, he has to shut it quickly. Moments later, Rachel and her daughter Mia arrive. Charles beams with joy at the sight of his granddaughter. Charles smiles when he sees Rachel walk in, but quickly asks why she brought Mia, reminding her that the dinner was meant for adults only. After Mia heads into the kitchen, Rachel quietly explains that Mia had seen disturbing news about the fraud allegations against York Therapeutics and was very upset. She brought her along to help lift her spirits. Meanwhile, Noah, the adopted son, stands outside, unsure if he should go in. He calls his girlfriend Grace, and she gently encourages him to take this opportunity to open up about their relationship. After the call ends, Noah turns to leave, but suddenly bumps into Ashley, who's just arrived. With a warm smile, she convinces him to come inside with her. As they drive to the house, Ashley excitedly tells Noah about landing a part in a video game commercial. She's glowing with confidence and joy. In the middle of the ride, Noah mentions Grace. Ashley instantly questions why he's kept her a secret from the family. Noah hesitates, then makes Ashley promise not to say anything until he's ready. She agrees, but insists that he stop hiding things from her going forward. When they walk through the door, Charles is taken by surprise and overjoyed to see Noah after such a long absence. He hugs him tightly, holding back his emotions. Now that the whole family is together, they sit down to enjoy the stunning Korean meal Dawn has prepared. Ever since closing her restaurant, Dawn has only cooked at home. And lately, she hasn't seemed like herself. There's sadness in her eyes that she tries to hide behind a warm smile. As everyone eats, Charles stands and raises his glass. He apologizes to his children for always putting work ahead of family. Then, with a heavy heart, he shares the true reason for this gathering. Both he and Dawn have officially volunteered for the euthanasia program. It's their way of helping the nation meet the 20% population reduction target. That's also why Charles had asked Rachel not to bring Mia. This dinner was meant to be a serious conversation among adults. He gently asks Mia to head upstairs. Jared is stunned. He immediately challenges their decision, reminding them they don't need the money the government gives volunteers. But Charles explains that after witnessing the destruction of the Amazon rainforest with his own eyes, he became convinced the planet can no longer carry the weight of human overpopulation. If no one steps forward and the government starts randomly selecting people, he couldn't live with the guilt if it were one of his own children. Jared, calm and confident, reminds them he has deep connections with officials involved in the euthanasia policy. If their names ever come up, he can step in and take their place. There's no need for them to go through with this. According to policy, just one volunteer from the family is enough to spare the rest, and there's even a generous financial reward. But Dawn speaks up passionately. She argues that because the Yorks are such a well-known family, their public act of sacrifice could inspire thousands of others to volunteer too. It's not about the money, it's about the message. The discussion grows tense. Dawn, clearly overwhelmed, walks away to the kitchen. The rest of the family keeps debating, each with strong opinions. Later, they gather in the living room to continue the conversation. Charles asks an uncomfortable question. If no one volunteers, who gets chosen first? Jared answers honestly, illegal immigrants are at the top of the list. However, he adds that their families would be rewarded and fast-tracked to citizenship. Charles is furious. He calls the system racist and inhumane. He says blaming immigrants and Asian countries for the global crisis has become a toxic habit, one he refuses to be part of. Then, with a heavy sigh, Charles reveals something heartbreaking. Dawn's restaurant wasn't. Tea simply shut down. It was burned to the ground in a racially motivated attack. Ever since that day, Dawn has never been the same. During the heated discussion, Ashley slips up and accidentally mentions Noah's girlfriend, instantly grabbing Charles's attention. Caught off guard, Noah admits he's dating someone named Grace. He quickly reassures the family that she's nothing like the women from his past, most of whom were addicted to drugs. His tone shifts as he bravely opens up about his troubled past. Noah shares that he once battled addiction himself, a fight that ended in a horrifying tragedy. He caused an accident that not only took his girlfriend's life, but also left him badly injured. The pain of that memory still lingers. But now, he says with confidence, things are different. He's turned his life around. He works as a pianist at a venue managed by Grace, and he's proud of the man he's become. Hearing this, Charles looks at Noah with deep emotion and says he's proud of him too. Suddenly, everything changes. The family finds a note. It's from Dawn. In it, she confesses that she has left the house because she can't go through with the euthanasia. Her words are heartbreaking. Soon after, the doorbell rings. Bob arrives with his team from the Department of Citizen Strategy. Charles meets him at the door and immediately informs him that Dawn is gone. He pleads for time to find her before proceeding, but Bob pulls Charles aside for a private talk. He hands him a stack of paperwork, demanding signatures. Charles reads through the documents, then looks Bob in the eye and says, "Do you even know who I am?" But Bob doesn't flinch. Calm as ever, he coldly replies, "I don't care, as long as your name is on the list." Later that evening, the children gather in Charles's bedroom. Noah plays a quiet melody on his piano, filling the room with emotion. The atmosphere is heavy, because everyone knows what's about to happen. Bob has successfully pressured Charles into going through with the euthanasia. With a somber expression, Charles tells his children how much he loves them. He explains that his assets will be split evenly between all four of them. Then Bob steps forward and administers the final dose. Charles slips away peacefully. but the silence is unbearable. As Bob's men carry Charles's body out of the house, Bob reminds the family of the cold, horrifying truth. He came to collect 2 bodies and he's only got 1. The Yorks try to reason with him, insisting Dawn is gone and there's no one else left. But Bob's men move in, now fully armed. They give the family a brutal ultimatum: choose someone among yourselves, or one of you will be taken by force. In a shocking move, Bob snatches Mia and drags her to his car. He tells the family not to worry. She says a minor and one to be harmed, but the threat is clear. He gives them just 2 hours to make a decision, unless they manage to bring Dawn back. Jared tries to act fast, saying he can use his government contacts to fix this. But Bob coldly reveals the house is already in full lockdown. No internet, no phones, no way out. Then Bob drops the most brutal blow of all. He reveals a treasure trove of hidden files, the family's darkest secrets, collected and stored by the government. Browsing histories, criminal records, every buried lie. Now laid bare, he tells them confidently, one of you will break. Someone will give in. Rachel, who knows her file is full of criminal offenses, lashes out in rage and punches Bob in the face. But he just wipes the blood away and walks out with his men, leaving behind a storm of fear and mistrust. The family sits in silence, horrified by the files in front of them. Shame washes over them, but even with everything exposed, no one is willing to step forward. The family gathers, tensions boiling over. Jared coldly suggests that Noah should be the one to sacrifice himself. He argues that Noah wasted every opportunity their father gave him, throwing away his life in the process. But Ashley isn't having it. She snaps back, saying Jared is the last person worth saving. Noah stays calm and firm. He reminds them all that he's turned his life around and insists they should respect their father's final wish. We have to find another way, together. Frustrated and out of options, the family makes a desperate call to Bob. They tell him they can't come to a decision. Bob, ever cold and practical, suggests they draw sticks. But the family refuses. They can't reduce their lives to a game of chance. That's when Rachel speaks up. She asks if they could simply hand over a body instead of volunteering. Bob confirms they can. He leaves them to sort it out, and that's when things take a horrifying turn. As soon as Bob is gone, Rachel starts plotting against Noah. With disturbing ease, she manipulates Jared and Ashley into joining her twisted plan. Then, without warning, Rachel stabs Noah with a knife. Shockingly, Ashley joins in. She hands Rachel the blade to finish the job. Ashley grabs pepper spray and Jared picks up a metal rod. They all advance toward Noah. "Noah, stop running. You're the only way out," Jared shouts. Noah backs away, bleeding and terrified. "We're family," he pleads. "What are you doing?" But they don't listen. Noah fights back, dodging attacks and defending himself without causing real harm, especially refusing to fight Ashley. But she hits him with the pepper spray, blinding him. As he stumbles in pain, Rachel hurls a knife, stabbing him in the back. Wounded, Noah rushes into the bathroom and tries to stop the bleeding. Gasping for air, he sits in a dark bedroom, trying to calm himself. He pulls out his phone to text Grace, but there's no signal, no way to reach her. In a moment of desperation, he tosses the phone out the window. Once it lands far enough from the lockdown house, the message is finally sent. Noah steels himself. He breaks a chair and grabs a wooden leg as a weapon. Enough is enough. He's ready to face his siblings, not to kill, but to end the madness. Elsewhere, Bob receives word that Dawn has been found. But instead of stepping in to stop the violence inside the York house, he does nothing. Watching from afar like a spectator at a twisted show. Inside, Noah finds Ashley hiding in a closet. She looks shaken. "I'm sorry," she whispers. She tells him the others are in the living room. Noah nods and says, "This has to stop, now." They head out together. As they walk through the hallway, a family portrait on the wall catches Noah's eye, a brief, emotional moment. But suddenly, Rachel appears out of nowhere and stabs his hand, pinning it to the wall with a knife. Noah screams in pain, but fights back, striking Rachel hard. Ashley runs off. Noah yanks the knife from his hand and limps to another room, trying to regroup. But Jared is close behind. A brutal fight breaks out. Noah slams Jared against the wall, grabs a fork, and stabs Rachel in the neck. Then he turns back to Jared, tackling him again. He tries to make a run for it, but Ashley sneaks up and knocks him out cold. Next thing he knows, Noah is tied up. His siblings stand over him, each holding a knife, ready to end his life once and for all. But as they raise their blades, none of them can do it. Just then, the door swings open. Grace bursts in, demanding to see Noah. She's filming everything with her phone, capturing the madness inside the house. The siblings panic and rush outside to confront her. At the same time, Mia causes a disturbance on the bus, trying to escape. "Run, Mia!" someone shouts. And she does, sprinting for her life, but then a gunshot rings out. One of Bob's men shoots Mia, killing her instantly. The family is frozen in horror. Their precious Mia, gone in a flash. In a desperate move, Rachel suggests offering Grace as the second body, but Bob coldly refuses. "She's not York blood," he says. "She doesn't count." Then he delivers the final blow. They have 15 minutes to choose someone. Or he'll choose for them. They rush back inside the house, but Noah is gone. The spot where they left him is empty. Suddenly, everything goes dark. The lights cut out, throwing the house into chaos. The siblings grab a flashlight, hearts racing, and begin searching the house. But out of the shadows, Noah strikes. He lunges at Ashley, stabbing her. Then he turns on Rachel and Jared, slashing Rachel across the neck. The room explodes in violence. Noah wraps his hands around Ashley's throat, choking her, rage burning in his eyes. Rachel, bleeding and panicked, begs him to stop. He turns toward her and begins strangling her too. But then Rachel gasps, "I'll volunteer. Please, I'll do it." Noah freezes. He lets her go and takes a step back. "No one in this family is dying," he declares. "We not killing each other. We going to kill Bob and his men. That changes everything." The siblings rally around Noah's plan. First, they patch up Ashley's wounds. Then, together, they prepare an ambush. They call Bob and say they've made their decision. The volunteer is ready. Bob arrives with one of his men. As they step into the living room, they see Ashley lying on the floor, motionless. Bob walks over to inspect her body. But it's a trap. Ashley suddenly stabs his man. At the same time, Noah charges forward, grabbing Bob and holding a knife to his neck. The room explodes into action. Bob's remaining guards burst in, but Bob raises a hand and stops them. He instructs his men to stand down and hand over their weapons. They obey, shocked and confused. As soon as the weapons are surrendered, the siblings knock Bob out cold. When Bob wakes up, he's tied to a chair. He sees the siblings staring down at him, deadly serious. They're preparing to kill him, just like he killed their father. Bob, still calm, warns them. "If you kill me, the government will take Mia and Jared's son in retaliation." Jared picks up a syringe, ready to inject Bob with the euthanizing drug. But before he can act, Bob makes one last offer. "I can fix this," he says. "If you let me live, I'll make sure no one finds out. I'll handle everything, legal cleanup, falsified reports, all of it. You'll walk away free." The siblings glance at one another, hesitating. As much as they hate him, this may be their only real option. Slowly, they begin to agree. Time passes. Now, Noah stands on stage in a black suit, performing a breathtaking piano piece at a grand concert. The crowd watches in awe, and in the audience sit Rachel, Mia, Dawn, and Jared's son, their eyes filled with pride. Meanwhile, the news delivers a very different story to the public. Reporters announce that Ashley and Grace have voluntarily enlisted in the euthanasia program, hailed as national heroes. On TV, Bob praises their selfless sacrifice and even claims he was the one who collected their bodies. The nation celebrates their courage, never knowing the real story hiding behind the headlines.